For the longest time since I was young, I was taught to believe that the better I am, the more virtuous I am, I would attract more women, because many films and TV shows encourage you to be kind and virtuous and non-needy, and then from that, more girls will be attracted to you. And I was told by everyone around me that the more giving and selfless I am, the more girls will flock to me. But little did I know this was somewhat of a ploy to have them benefit more, and not only that, to soothe their inner moral inklings that they feel like it makes them righteous to say that you have to be good in order to attract women. Many nice guys think that the more needs and wants they have, the more of a burden they are and the less love they get. So because of that, many nice guys don't voice out their needs, they don't voice out their wants. They think that makes them independent by not depending on anyone, by never asking for help, by never sharing their emotions, by never setting any boundaries. They think that makes them the most nice and therefore the most desirable. And then I kind of graduated from that nice guy perception and I went into more of the higher quality I am, the more girls I will attract. So basically, the more emotionally mature I am, the more respectful I am, the more thoughtful, the more fit, the more well-spoken I am, the more socially intelligent I am, that would mean I will attract more women. That would mean more women will flock around me. The more game I had, that makes me more interesting. And I'm not here to argue the point that you shouldn't ever do things without the motivation of female attraction. In fact, I think it's perfectly biological for us to improve ourselves if it means we get more female attention. Isn't that how we are wired? You look at peacocks, they fucking spin their ass around and blossom their ass out in order to attract more females, Males from so many animal species have biological inklings and biological traits that help them perform and kind of peacock their beauty or competence to a female to attract them. This is perfectly biological. They argue that, you shouldn't do it for women. There's some truth to it, but at the same time, unless you're obsessed with it and you expect women to flock all over you if you fit a certain criteria, there's nothing wrong with that mindset. But I'm here to talk about how the number of women you attract isn't directly proportional to how high quality you are, because let's break this down. There are many things to it. Patterns of love the girls are familiar with. Some girls are addicted to emotional drama because of their own trauma. If you know how to handle every situation, to them you don't feel authentic anymore. Of course, we want to, ideally, unless you also have some sort of problem, typically we want to go for mentally healthy women and a wonderful partner who is competent and kind and doesn't have terrible habits in relationships. We want to find a girl that supports us. As modern dating culture becomes more and more widespread and there's a wholeflation going on, I fear that there's so many girls who are more attracted to lower quality men. For example, men who vape, men who have terrible tendencies, men who have addictions. Perhaps they feed off one another in some way. The intention of this video is to remind you if you're on your self-improvement journey. When you see girls attracted to guys who have terrible habits or, let's say, way worse off than you are. They don't do anything for themselves. They have the body of a milk bag or a praying mantis. They vape, they smoke, they drink, and you still watch girls flock over to them. For a very long time, every time I witness something like that, I would get quite emotionally activated by it. My ego can't handle it because I have this perceived fear that they can come up to me and say, you do all this for yourself, but look, I attract more women than you. Telling them that you're only attracting mentally unhealthy girls sounds like such a cope and it makes me sound pathetic. This is me being honest with my thoughts, alright? So don't shame me, okay? I'm here to remind you that since we are aiming to attract mentally healthy women, not only are they very difficult to find because they're becoming increasingly rarer, but also a mentally healthy girl will probably look for someone older than her and decently competent. And for a mentally healthy girl to exist, she probably needs a lot of time to mature. So she'll very likely be above the age of 20. And as a 20-year-old myself, how are we going to compete with 25-year-olds who have their life together while making consistent bank, who have 5 more years to develop their physique, who have 5 more years to develop their emotional maturity, their social intelligence, their ability to speak, their articulation, the way they carry themselves. It can get very frustrating because we're so young and we're trying to attract women that are way above our grade. That's not saying we can't, and that's not saying that there aren't ones who exist who are younger than us. But we have to consider that they are incredibly rare. And I'm just gonna be honest here, heart to heart, transparency. Whenever I see attractive girls with a guy who vapes, who is very vulgar, who is not kind, not gracious, not competent. It makes me so angry, it makes me so upset. And it genuinely does, because I have this ego projection, which can be caused by many things, but I won't get into that in this video. But it's very important that we take a look at our ego projection and remind ourselves that the world is abundant and we need to continue seeking, we need to continue remaining positive, we need to be kind, and we can't have the childish view that perceived low quality men are below us in some way and that's why they don't deserve to attract those women. That thought can be very toxic and can tear us down in many ways. Relationships can't really be reasoned with. Connections and what people find interesting in one another is not always going to be around the same things. You know, it won't be exactly linear for everyone because everybody has different inklings, everybody has different mannerisms, everybody has different things they're attracted to and things that will fit into their personality. So when you look at a low quality guy in your own perception, it's very easy for us to have hatred, have resentment, have anger. You know, what is he doing that bests me? And he can attract such an attractive woman and I can't, even though I'm way more high quality than him. You know, I'm a nice guy, I'm competent, I'm rich, I'm not, maybe not rich, fit, I'm well spoken. That guy has no edge over me, and yet attractive girls talk to him. How is that fair? What is my life's work for? What's the point of being better if being better doesn't get better things? Have a goal. Think of everything you can become to get there and work on everything you can become. Unfortunately, you can't always reason with everything around you. Let it be and continue walking. Don't hold hatred for it. You never know what someone has been through. You never know how their relationship is like. Let go and walk and walk and walk. Keep moving forward. It's easy to succumb and become one of those men who plays games to get into the pants of the women around them. And there isn't that much wrong with that because you're strategizing how you can get an outcome that you wish to have. And if you succeed with women through that way of strategizing and pseudo manipulation, then you deserve what you get. You know, you successfully manipulated her. Wow. I'm in no position to put a judgment on whether that's good or bad, but you should be very clear with your priorities and your goals. What do you want in a relationship? You know, do you need the casual sex? There's this saying, but it's more for women. You have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince. And that's better how? Why would the prince want to be with a frog-kissing crackhead? And what are you doing? How does that make it any better? It's a bit of a hard pill to swallow because my ego wants me to be attractive to as many women possible so that, you know, I'll have an edge over other men. But that would mean I have to play games. That would mean I have to betray my ideals to achieve that desire. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong again, but it's very tempting and perhaps it doesn't have that bad consequences on myself. But I think that succumbing to desires that don't match your ideals could say some flaws about yourself, and you have to be very careful. You have to be very adamant with your priorities and your goals and the decision you make. So let's continue to love, continue to hope. I really hope we all find the relationships we deserve, and I hope my ideal wife is sitting out there waiting for me. This world is not easy at all, and it's easier said than done to let go of your hatred and your anger. But breathe it in, trust your morals, trust your ideals, focus on becoming the person you want to be in order to get the things you want. And you have to make a choice whether your desires or your ideals are more important. And once you make that choice, go after it with all your might and you'll learn from there. I love you guys. Stay strong. Stay hopeful. To better world.